Joined by Theta Prophet, also known as Jason. As you guys know, we've had him on the channel quite a bit. And it's been a minute since I've had you on, so I hope you've been doing really well, my man.
I think so. I can't even remember where we were at last time. I think in the midst of turmoil.
Yeah, we were at like Tesla on the way down to hitting its 582 mark and then bouncing. So it's bounced quite a bit since then. I know your portfolio's been doing really well since that little recovery, and you're still up all time like 240 grand or something, which is still just ridiculous. I don't know how you did it, man. Literally took $500.
You're right.
Jeez, 240,000, a quarter million. So we're literally talking to the Theta Prophet right now, and I wanted to go through some more of your plays because I know we've had a lot of things expire. We've got to see your account grow, and at the same time, like, would love to hear more about your emotional management for the viewers about a lot of your positions. And we were talking about MGM too, so we can always hop into that one.
We can. Well,
And
my one play I'm down on right now. You got to pick it up, make me feel bad emotionally.
yeah. I saw the
Very
green.
sad.
I saw the green, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Uh oh, I see the negative right there. We gotta dog him for it." No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
I think it'll work
So
well.
I'm very sad about this covered call that I sold. Let's see. What do we got? Excuse me, because I've never used the desktop version. I always hate when I jump into these.
Yeah,
Uh,
I
so what
see.
did we do? Let's see. Average credit. So I grabbed what, $40
Pretty
for it
much.
was,
Yep.
and where is it at? So I still have 250 before $2.50 before I have to give away my shares.
Mhm.
Or not really give them away because I bought them at $19. Um, and then this is one of them that I bought. This is one that I bought just during the whole pandemic. Everything is on sale. Didn't wait for the bottom, but did pick up some stuff I wanted.
Yep.
Um, and MGM being one of them, just because it seemed like, everything was cheap. It didn't matter, right? What you told somebody to buy a year ago, everything's up. Everybody's a genius.
Right.
Um, yeah, absolutely. And that one I think I'll just hold on to for a while, a couple hundred shares, just because um, I think they're going to have a dividend return. So that'd be pretty cool just to add to the dividend paying stocks.
Yeah, man, why not, right? I mean, you're up 4.4% on your portfolio today, which is huge, right? I mean, people don't realize that if they build a really solid portfolio, you can have an $8,000 day. And what is it? One third of Americans make like 30 grand a year. So if you make over 30 grand, I mean, look at that. You're up 8K today alone, off
Yeah,
with all your
not
plays.
terrible.
Not terrible at all. It's
Uh,
crazy.
yeah, this we did have the Biden news, so we'll look at our week though at least. So we're up 4 grand only for the week. We had,
Okay.
would you call it, the field goal right
Yeah,
here?
that's a yeah. The field goal recovery. It's good.
Little goalpost right here. So everything was chugging along yesterday, and then more capital gains, and kaboom. And then so at least Joe gave me some of my money back, I guess, or at least we recovered a little bit from there.
A
So
little bit.
yeah,
Testing all time
not too
highs.
terrible.
Testing all time highs on SPY right now. You have your covered calls on Palantir right now too. When did you pick those up?
I roll those out every couple weeks,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. So I actually did I just roll those out? I think I may have just rolled them out to that position last Friday, and I was going to do all these, and I actually just ran out of time and forgot.
Yeah.
I would roll those out another week. Those are always super far of the money because I don't want to give up my Palantir shares like at all.
Yeah.
And
Me neither,
it,
man.
it, and since in the past, like I think like the long term on Palantir, it's going to be very high. Um, so I don't think there's a huge catalyst that's going to rocket it up, and I would lose it. But in the past, it's kind of been one of those meme popular stocks. So I
Yep.
feel like a run up could happen from that, and
Definitely.
I don't want to lose them. Like my goal is 1,000 shares. I have 300 and some. I think what do we have? 300 and some now, and I've just been purchasing a little bit every day. 319 shares, and then I just have like I do have a put sold on those,
Nice.
and I buy $20 a day, Palantir.
Wow. Well, I need to get on
So
that train, man. I have 210 shares, so just about 100 behind you. And yeah, what a day they had today, you know.
yeah, I was like super excited. I was like, yeah, I hope I get a sign. Did you get a sign on your? No, you didn't. Good job.
No, I sold the put.
Yeah.
I sold the $22 well, yeah, $22 strike this week, so I was good. Didn't get
Oh,
assigned.
I don't know. I would have considered getting a sign bid.
I
I
know.
would have been like,
Well,
yes.
that's the thing. I bought like 10 more shares because I didn't get assigned, and then I sold one on Carnival Cruise Lines as well, which I was trying to
Yeah.
get assigned on them too. I sold the 2450 put, and I was like, "Hey, I got $22, but like, I kind of want to get assigned some shares so I can do some covered calls." And it was
Yeah.
at the bottom of the range from what it's been trading in, so I was like, you know what? We'll just stick to Palantir. So I'm gonna pick up another 100 shares this coming week, but yeah, I wanted to make sure I got 10 at least on Tuesday when they were 21.36. I bought 10 more,
Yeah.
so I was like, "What's $213? Like this price is fantastic, you
Yeah.
know." And it's like, who cares what your average cost is if you're able to sell covered calls every week? Like, just I love Palantir for the long term. Like, imagine if this thing ever hits $100 a share. You have 1,000 shares of it. Like, you're gonna be just be rolling in the dough, like rocking with 100K in Palantir at that point.
Yeah. And you're just like passionate about them,
Mm-hmm.
like same way I am about Tesla. Like, I know today, whatever, if you pick them up for 20, 19, 25, come 3 years from now, 5 years from now, we won't care.
Right.
And it's just something, and that's what I love about buying stocks that you actually love. Like you could be down 500, be down a grand on them, and you just don't care. It doesn't hurt like when you buy something speculative and the only reason you're buying it is because you want it, you think it's going to go up, and that's your only reason for buying it, like short term.
Yep.
That feels terrible. And you're just like, crap. Now I just want to dump this stuff. Or Palantir, it can go down. They can go down to $19. So I'm just buying more.
Yeah, it's exactly how I feel too, man. Like, there's just so much action with it, and I like their entire plan over the next year. I've done tons of videos on them, and I seriously, I'd love to own 300 shares like you have, and you just kind of look at that opportunity of, hey, if I own this many shares of Palantir, and it's one of the few stocks that I think is really good return over the next 5 to 10 years. Currently, I think there's a lot of overvalued stocks currently. Now, I don't think Tesla's overvalued currently. Maybe when it gets to the $1,000 range, but that's, of course, it's different, right? We have different mindsets when we're investing in tech companies like Tesla, because when you invest, right, it's because you see a 10-year outlook on something, a 5, 10-year outlook. Same with Palantir, but there's a lot of stocks right now that I think are overvalued, personally, and there's stocks like I think DraftKings needs to pull back a little bit, and I'll consider picking up shares, right? That's
Yeah.
one. There's a lot of stocks that are at all-time highs, like as we speak right now. So, but I think Palantir's that one that we will see to, 60 to $80 a share in the next 5 years, just because of the sheer business of what they're doing and the administration that we're under. I just feel like that's our next really good opportunity at, building wealth, and a stock that I'm comfortable going, bigger in compared to a lot of the other stocks out there.
Right. Yeah. And I'm right there with you on it. And I think the thing that's going to keep it low for a while is just you can research a lot about them and not understand what they do.
Yep.
Like, for sure, it takes some dedication to even kind of scrape the surface of what they do and kind of understand it. And even I don't know, I've watched hours, probably days worth of their content. I'm sure you have too. I mean, you
Yep.
produce their content,
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
and and it's like we can't really fully fathom because we're not in an industry that can use what they do. But I think we can understand it to a level to where you understand the value of it long term, and just besides them being like a great company and the things um, that they do like with their technology, finding kids, like helping that kind of stuff out. I think it's super cool.
Yeah, me too, man. I truly think it is really cool, everything that they have going on over there. And I've done so many videos on them, you know, and it's so cool to see them progress. And they even have events like Demo Day.
You said you didn't watch all of Demo Day, right?
I did not watch all of Demo Day, no.
Okay. So I watched it, and it makes sense why it sold off. I think investors were watching it, thinking it was going to be something big, but their demo day was not for investors. It was for like actual user, like customers.
Definitely.
So you had to be a data scientist to understand what they were selling and go, that's fantastic. But the average person, like 100% lost in what they did. So I think people were expecting like, it's all going to make sense now. But like I said, you can't watch one of their videos or two of their videos and even scrape the surface of what they do. But yeah, that's the thing with like even Tesla's earnings coming up. Who knows? Like they could have great earnings and they don't announce that the Cybertruck's coming out next Wednesday and it'll drop.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you know, Tesla's been interesting after earnings. They've sold off almost every day after earnings for the past year. Like they sold off the day after. So who knows? Maybe this is the first quarter that we see them not sell off, which would be really awesome. You know, but they've had really crazy reactions almost every time, but then the next day you wake up they sell off. It's like the weirdest thing.
Yeah, my thought with that, the trend I'm noticing, and I notice it with Apple now that I've been watching like all of their events and watch how the stock reacts. Like, I think there's a build up, and people expect not only good earnings or like just like with Apple, just a new generation of phone, like what everybody expects. Everybody's looking for this, something like totally groundbreaking, and every time it's not something groundbreaking or they didn't triple the earnings estimates, they're like, then they kind of just, it's nothing amazing.
See, that's so weird to me because as someone who like wants to own Apple for 5 years, like I don't really care what they do this quarter. So I don't know. It's something interesting, right? Like that's kind of how I think with my money, right? It's like if I want to own something for 5 years, but I know there's a lot of people who are always chasing after like that. What's the best stock to buy today? And then we also have the people, right, who like every little movement can stop them out completely of all their positions they're in. Which I don't.
Apple's down $4.
Yeah, it's down $4. You better sell that. That thing's donezo. But it's like I don't know.
Apple's not even gonna be around next month at this rate.
Like that's how I think. I'm like I don't know. I survived the COVID crash, and like I remember waking up to my portfolio down like 25%. Because of the COVID crash. I was like, well, this just means I buy more shares. And I feel like everybody's running around with like their heads cut off. And I'm like, why? Like, just go about your normal day-to-day life and, buy a couple more shares of something that you believe in. Yeah, it sucks right now, but you don't need this money right now.
Yep. And you always say that. You don't need it. You don't need it to eat. Yeah, absolutely.
That's how I think about it, man. It's like if you don't need it to eat, why not grow it? Why not watch it move every, 2 minutes, right? It's like if it can make money for you, why not capitalize on that? And I don't know. I think it's something really cool to see. And then you sent me over that Peter Schiff, right? That video.
Yeah.
And that video is fantastic. I don't know. Would we be able to pull it up and like talk about it a little bit, or do you think YouTube would hate on that? Think we'd get copyrighted?
Like reading about that stuff. So I think because like you're not altering it or using it to like sell anything, and you're just basically using it as commentary, like you can do it.
Okay.
But I think just to make sure, in case people are interested in that, maybe just do it as a separate, because that's a long ass video too.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and something.
Yeah, if we're doing the whole video, but I don't know. It's kind of cool. A lot of the things they were saying with like capitalism and pointing out like how the government really impacts capitalism more than anything through taxes. Like the government's really the one that's kind of like really pushing capitalism all the time because they know they can make tax money off you. It's just so weird to think about, right? It's like they totally control the system. It's interesting.
Yeah. Look how they controlled this yesterday.
100%. Like just at any time they can change the capital gains tax rate. Like if it gets passed, like something that most people don't want changed, and they just have the power if it gets passed, like a couple people, compared to the grand scheme of everybody. I don't know, it just seems goofy to me, right? Like changing the entire capital gains rate just because a couple people said so up at our capital. It's weird.
Yeah. I bet most people don't know what capital gains are.
Oh, 100%. Like, how many,
Which is crazy to think of.
I get tons of comments.
The people that are watching this and you and me, yeah.
Yeah. They know.
But
But yeah, the majority of people who are like, wait, I have to pay taxes on this money? It's like, yes, your money's making you money. You have to pay taxes still.
oh, because here's one that you've probably heard, like your friends who know you're investing, and then you're like, yeah, well, I'm doing this or making this much money. And they're like, oh, but what about the taxes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge one, man. Like, people always ask that stuff. Like, especially when I'd have like a $300 day and all my friends are like, oh my gosh, like that takes me a couple days at work to make. And I'm like, yeah, well, I still got to pay taxes on it. So,
Well, 20% maybe.
yeah,
But now
depends.
that you're going to be making $1 million plus a year,
Right.
YouTube money on top of
On top of
investing.
all my trades, yeah. That's what it seems
Yeah.
like. My $500 a week's really gonna add up to $1 million by the end of the year, I guess. No, it's wild, man. I don't know. I always have a goal set for how much I want to make, but I like the way that you do it too, which is you're just like, hey, I find an opportunity, let me put my account on this play, and like it really adds up, man. I really have no idea how you stay so motivated at work when you're literally crushing it in the market. Like what I see alone is almost worth over $1,000 in gains just from what some
Yeah.
of your plays are expiring this week. Like, how do you stay so focused at work when you literally have that much coming in?
Um, yeah, that's a super good question. Sometimes I'm a little less focused, but I like what I do. That's
Yeah.
if I did not like what I do or it sucked in any way, I'd probably be done. And I make not too terrible of money, so that's always a plus. Um, yeah, I think the hard part about like not working outside, like and literally your position is sitting in front of a computer all day. I don't know. That's you'd have to find something else to make sure you're active or just do
Yeah.
some other stuff beside it. It'd be hard.
Isn't that wild
And
to
also, but
think?
there's also that balance, like you were saying today. You're like, oh, I just have this thought. I think it was during your live stream, and you're just like, I just can't wait to share this with people. That's the part that sucks because I have that during the day, but then my time is limited to where like I can't just talk about it. I need visuals, and I would love to share this, like and talk about it. That part does suck about having a full time job.
Dude, that is the thing, man. It's even like, well, that's the tough part too, right? It's like, oh my gosh, then you have to make a video on it. Then you have to tell everybody, like, you want to share the info as fast as you can because it feels great to do. It's like, guys, guess what? Like, I just found this out, or whatever you're doing. Like, yeah, I was talking about it earlier, and I couldn't even imagine like full time and trying to balance this, and your trades and explaining it. It's like, that's just really crazy to think about because that's just, you don't have all the time in the day like you wish you did. And I think it's
Right.
fantastic, man, that you love your job because there's not very many people that love their job.
Yeah, that definitely makes it hard. Yeah, and then like even those days, like I feel obligated to always show like kind of what's going on daily because I kind of started out that way because I
Yeah.
did it on the way up, and then when they're having all those crappy drops, she was like, well, I don't want to stick my head in the sand and just pretend like I only have green days, so
Yeah.
absolutely have to commit to showing these. Yep, last 20 grand today. Yep, down 10 grand today or whatever. Which is all fine because it's like if somebody's going to jump into trading, they need to know that's part of it. Like 100%, you're going to have those days and you're going to need to know whether or not you can stomach it.
Yeah.
And like, are you going to quit after you lost a little bit of money or, so kind of feel obligated on that. But yeah, the part about like um, just getting some information out there, or when somebody asks a really good question that you're like, okay, somebody asked that. There's 100 people that probably don't know that, and you just want to be able to explain it in a simple way that everybody understands and might be helpful. Like that's I think the cool stuff for me.
Dude, 100%. That is, especially because you and I are seasoned at this. Like, we understand, like, green days, red days, and, we're both emotionally, I would say, intelligent enough to not let it affect us too hard, right? Of course, depending on the
Yeah.
day. Like, if I'm down 2 grand, I'm like, damn, this sucks. But same with you when you're down 20. But at the same time, it's like, you're up 8K today. I think my portfolio is up 800 today. And that's enough for me to be like, hey, I love what I do. And because, who cares what the money is today, because look what I've done over the past year. Look what I've done over the past 6 months, 3 months. Look at how many people I can affect with this. And then you
Yeah.
just continue to, grow that account really well. I don't know. There's just something about that is just, if you're able to stomach it, you're one of the few, rare people in this world that are able to handle it. And I just really admire that, from anybody who can do that. Like, I would say, if I had an account your size, I might struggle seeing a day that's down 8K, But at the same time, when you're up 8K, it's like, that's ridiculous, It's awesome.
And it gets less, it sucks because it gets like less and less exciting too.
I
I think
feel
it's
that.
just like probably like adrenaline junkies, or they're like have to do the next big thing, and it's just nothing crazy. I don't know.
Yeah,
um
definitely, man.
Kind of like you're like you do everything statistically, and you're like, okay, well, this is a losing day. I played it correctly, and overall, I know this is what's going to happen, and you don't need it to eat. You don't need the money today,
Yep.
so just rinse and repeat. Keep doing what works for you. Um, yeah, if
That's
I really needed it, I just would have bought a bunch of Dogecoin. Became rich.
Dogecoin. Dogecoin's just wild, man. Yeah, but I agree with you, man. That's like exactly how I think. It's like we have the opportunity every single day to wake up and take advantage of the market, right? And utilize it to our goals and our dreams and aspirations. And it's like seeing your port up 8,000, you've gotten used to that over time. Same with me
Yeah.
with seeing my port up 1,000 in a day or down 1,000. It doesn't mess with me mentally because I understand how the market works. And it's like, yeah, it's gonna hurt your ego if you're down, but if you look at the long term of what we've done, if you look at the long term of anything with the market, and that's just the hardest part to get into people's heads, it's like you're still going to be the same person 2 years from now. So, like, why not continue to prepare for your future? And I don't know. I just really admire that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird. It's definitely a strange thing when you're when you're able to say that too. When you're like, yeah, down 1,000, okay. Like for me, when I see down 1,000, I'm like, that's a fantastic day, right? That was just, I mean, that was like in my mind, okay, that's just some choppiness on the way to some theta decaying somewhere.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
not like, I mean, obviously the beginning of the year sucked when everything like kept going down, but in general, I think was it Monday? I don't even remember what day. Like I had like an up 20 day, and I think the next day it was down like a few grand, and that's like super happy because I know just where that put me on my spreads, because I knew like, okay, I'm super far on the money now. I'm like a little bit close to the money, but not as close as I used to be. So whatever, all those numbers day to day don't doesn't really mean much at all.
Right.
I mean, really, and that's an insane thing that we look at. We totally always report on, and people report on like, I lost this amount today, or it's never like, this is what I did this year. This is what I did these like 5 years. It's never a bigger picture at all. Like
Never, man.
nobody focuses on like, hey, how much you make at work? They always, I make 40K a year or 100K a year. It's not like I made $73 today. It's never that's like not the focus, because you literally don't live day by day at all.
Right. Yeah, and if you did, I mean, it would be super stressful. But it's like, right, you go to work and you don't get paid until your paycheck time, which is either that Friday or the following Friday. And it's the same way with the market too. I mean, it could be day to day, right? If you're day trading or if you have options expiring
Yeah.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or whatever. But I look at it from a weekly standpoint. It's like, payday. If payday's coming sooner than late through the market, like that's fantastic, right? Like if you're able to make 1,000 a week or 500 a week, and money's relative to who has it, right? Like we know that some people make millions a year and some people make 30K a year, and not saying that 30K is bad at all, or 10K or whatever. But when it comes to money, right, like it's all relative to the beholder of whoever has, like your portfolio, for example, 185,000. My portfolio, 55,000 currently, right? So it's like that's that difference, right? Like we have a $130,000 difference between the both of us. But at the same time, like who's to say, right? I mean, like right now in this moment, you have more than I do, right? I have less, but I'm very comfortable where I'm at, and I have a long time to get to where your portfolio is, and I plan on doing that. So, I don't need that money today, so why not continue to grow it?
Yeah. And plus, like, there's probably nothing you want to do today that you can't do, that you're being restricted by money.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, and same thing with like, yeah, if I need it, it's there, but goal is just to grow it over time. I don't know. I don't that and that is something crazy. I don't know if you have an actual do you have an end goal?
So, kind of, but not really.
Okay.
I think my end goal has always been, I have this like wishful thinking in my head of if my end goal is to just buy as many shares as possible and to, I would say, like by the time I'm 30, have a $500,000 portfolio, I guess, which I just turned 21 last month. So that's 9 years. But I really don't have an end goal
Yeah.
because I love what I do every day off the market. It's kind of like, and it's not a game to me of like, how much can I make today, but like my weekly income. Like I guess my end goal for it would just be to have so much money that like just dividends alone would pay me a salary, but even then it's almost like, maybe my money's better off in growth stocks, and maybe at that point
Yeah,
it,
that's a hard thing is like when you make that transition because that's what I was thinking. I was like, well, let me grow it like 2.5 million, shove it all in AT&T,
right.
and let me get my dividends. But then why? Why not just shove it in growth and then sell a share or two when you need it? It's it's
that
tough because,
that
like you said, it's enjoyable, it's fun, and stupid first world problems, right? You're like, oh, I played this game. I played this game of trying to make it $500 a week.
100%,
Ridiculous.
dude, that's 100% how I think, man, like spot on. It's just like, can I make 500 this week off the market? It's like, am I setting myself up in the right position? Can I make 1,000? Can I make two? And then you start to add it and you're like, wow, if that compounded for 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, and like, that's the whole point. It's so hard to be so spot on with your goals. And then number one, right, like all success that you have, like especially in capitalism, all success is interdependent, right? We depend on other people for our success, which is whether you have a job, it's because your boss has set up this whole system to where you have one. Or in any success off the market is because other people are driving the price for you as well. Or if you're shorting a position, they're driving
Right.
it down. All success, right, especially in a monetary society, is all interdependent. So that's where I kind of, look at money from like such an emotionally cut off standpoint because I get to do what I love every day, and it's fun. Like there's not a single day that I wake up and I'm like, man, I wish I didn't have to do the market today. Like no, like I want to do the market every day forever. It's literally a blast. It's such a blast.
It's the best show on TV.
Dude,
It's like,
100%.
it's like the most complicated thing that we can spend the next decade, 2 decades, and never see everything, and never. I don't think we'll ever 100% wrap your mind around it. I mean, like people like right now, like Warren Buffett, he's never seen GameStop, AMC. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's something like brand new. Like, I've seen it all. And then that comes up.
That week, man. Yeah, stuff like that. Like Buffett's been around forever trading these stocks, and my favorite, I think it's so funny that some people dog on him for not getting a fantastic return. It's like, bro, he's almost 90 something. Like, isn't he 89?
Like, how much more money does he need?
Yeah, he does not care if he gets a 5% return or a 6 or 7. He's just living his life. That's how
Yeah.
I think about it. It's like Warren's just living his life. He was so ambitious back in the day. Like, let him enjoy the rest of his life.
Oh, yeah.
Like why does everybody think he has to have a fantastic return this year? Like, he gave half his money away to Bill Gates anyway. For, or I guess donated to Bill Gates, right? So that Bill Gates could help other people. So that's kind of how like my brain works with it. It's like, who cares if Warren bought Verizon and Verizon's up 5% this year? It's like he did,
Right.
it's funny though, because Bill Gates has a short position on Tesla, or he did for a while and lost a ton of money on it.
Was that ever confirmed?
I I heard Elon talked about it, but I don't know if it was like confirmed.
Yeah, I feel like it was like 95% confirmed. And that's
Yeah.
why he was like saying, oh, yeah, Tesla's on my basically can't work. Like, it works for short distances, but not this. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you coming on another video, Jason. I'm glad that we could just have fun on a Friday night after such a long week and, enjoy just talking about the market and what we got going on, because I think it's really cool and admirable, especially for people who are inspired by it. So just to continue, pushing on every single day and just coming back to the market and utilizing it to grow wealth. I mean, I can't wait to see where you are a year from now. You guys have yet to leave a like on the video, do that right now. Also comment below an emoji, and then make sure you subscribe to Jason's channel, and then subscribe to mine too if you have yet to. But I'm excited, man. Your channel's been growing, my channel's been growing, so I just think it's cool to see. I think there's a lot of good information to share.